Hi guys, Ophiuchus, welcome back. All right, let's get into this story for my Ophiuchus gang. We've got the moon card to start us out, Piscean energy, but this looks very much like there's some thawing out in that frozen forest. We have that wonderful, it's more like a little, it's not a fire. It's actually like a light being shedding light there. And way in the foreground, we have a messenger. That bird is flying right up in front here. And we've got lots of little messengers sitting in the trees in the forefront. So I'm going to say this. This Ophiuchus is being guided toward something really beautiful. Um, Even if they feel like they're lost in the woods and it's frozen and it's cold and they don't know what's going on, it looks like they know exactly what's going on. They're going through a portal, especially this year. Um, this is Year of the Dragon. And sure enough, we've got these dragons flying right into this kind of like this vortex, this portal of energy. So to have such a strong message of, someone who is leaping timelines or going into a different era, even though they don't know it. No wonder it's a little confusing here. We got the Nine of Wands in the reverse. This is a character who's been fatigued for a while, has been in there. Well, let's put it this way. This isn't a Ophiuchus who has a lot of personal power, but they've been in this little cave. They've been amassing their energy. That's the dragon with all of his gold here that he's sitting on, because they've been a wounded warrior. But that's all right. They needed to do that because in this time frame where this Ophiuchus has been holding back, maybe silent, maybe not connecting with anyone else, someone else has been doing the exact same thing. You notice how we actually have two dragons going through this portal this year. And this is bringing Ophiuchus on this mysterious path that they don't quite see where they're going. They're moving towards something lighter and brighter. They're coming out of those dark frozen woods. This is a character who's had a long period of time where I'm going to say they probably felt, I don't know if I want to use the word lost. I think there was a lack of direction, though, a lack of maybe even clarity about like, what am I doing? Like, what's my purpose? Or why am I here doing the things that I'm doing? Yeah, it's been a long journey. We got this Knight of Coins. And here's the thing. This cow is very sacred. This boy is tending to his cow with love, and this cow is very much a part of this boy's life in this card. So we have let's put it this way, the vehicle that we travel through this world in is kind of like our body, right? Our spiritual self, our mind gets to drive this body, this husk around, and it gets to interact with the world. But our consciousness is what tells our little vehicle, our body, what we want it to do and what things we want to touch. So it's kind of like this really sacred, really precious thing. And I feel like that's the metaphor for this. That the body is every bit as important as the spiritual self, because without the body, the spiritual self would have no tangible connection in the physical world. And I think without realizing it, part of this journey has been for our character to recognize just how important their physical life is and their spiritual. But in particular, the physical self is perhaps in this plane of existence is even more sacred. And so to love and cherish and tend to our physical self, our physical needs, to like our physical body, to be kind to our physical self, to look in the mirror and say, I like me. All that could have been a bit of a journey for our character that they didn't even realize that was an aspect that they needed to better accept their own body, their own physique. They needed to tend to themselves in a healthy way, not continuously look at, oh, I need to lose 5 pounds. Oh, I don't like this about myself. Oh, I wish I could, look different. Oh, I hate what I see in the mirror. If a character had been subconsciously beating themselves down, maybe for a lifetime in subtle, tiny ways, to the point where it mounted, it added up to the point where it was like, I am like just not feeling good about myself. And that was part of that wounded warrior aspect. Basically, what I'm suggesting here in this story is that Ophiuchus themselves had contributed to some of the, the exhaustion and the unhappiness, because they were really just being, like accruing all kinds of, I'll say, disrespect for themselves. Now, maybe we learn that from the outside world first, but then we keep putting it on ourselves. And this has been a journey for Ophiuchus to change that mindset at a really subtle way, a really subtle space in their heart and their mind. But they're not the only ones doing this. This is a year where maybe characters are going to be like reclaiming the idea that, wait a second, we are really sacred and precious creatures, and we should actually look at our physical self as something fabulous, not as an enemy or something that we wish we could change or something that's not good enough. There's a really lovely mindset shift. And I think this Ophiuchus had to retreat for a while, had to rest a while, had to subtly but slowly start moving beyond this concept of what's wrong, what's not good enough, and instead come to some conclusions about, like, wait a second. In the grand scheme of things, this is really silly to not love myself more. Look at this. I'm in this amazing world that I get to experience, not only with my consciousness and with my free will to choose to, buzz around this earth and have experiences, but also my physical self gets to experience, touch and taste and sound and, feel and all these things. That's a beautiful gift. Let me look at the world from here on out with excitement again. Let me make this be my year where I delight in the aspects of my physical realm, my physical body, while still also retaining the connection to my higher self, my spiritual self. I think this is a character who's going to be very vitally alive this year. I think they're going to feel more contentment than they have felt in a long time. We got the Wheel of Fortune. I feel like this could also be a year of intense, beautiful connection with another person who's in that same mindset, because you can see we actually have two people that have merged in this. We've got 4 hands, 4 feet. I think our character is about to meet a fellow, we'll say, dragon this year. We got 2 dragons going through that portal, 2 dragons feeling different about their lives, about the world around them. This is the year for characters to look at life with a different lens. Wheel of Fortune says this is a good year. This is a year of being more present and more satisfied with self, more accepting of one's body, more delighted to have a genuine physical connection, a romantic connection, able to blend and feel good enough to blend with another person in a romantic situation, instead of continuously feeling in the back of one's mind, oh, I'm probably not attractive enough to hold on to this partner, or I'm probably not good enough to have this or have that. This is such an interesting storytelling on this one. King of Swords, we've got the Griffin, we've got this kind of powerful but mystical creature rising, and all these multicolored wings. This is just reminding a character that in truth, we are many, many, many different layers. And that is one of the things that our character needed to get to, is to experience life in those many different layers, through touch, through sight, through sound. We can have a character who's starting to throughout this year, this Ophiuchus could want to start there's different types of, like, this sensory deprivation chambers, where you soak in a tub but without any lights on. They could want to start exploring how to enhance different aspects of what it's like to be human, wanting to kind of explore the different, even avenues of the mind. That could be an area of interest, kind of between what's to gain a greater understanding of each of our senses and the difference between fact and fiction. And it's an interesting concept here, because they're looking for truth through sifting through what is fiction, but at the same time recognizing that life is very complex and the layers of life almost feel like fiction sometimes. Um, there's a big mind shift happening in Ophiuchus. We have a King of Wands. So we've got a phoenix rising from the ashes here. We've got the Knight of Cups in the reverse, and we got the Two of Coins. This could very much be a same-sex couple that we're talking about. It does not have to be, or this could be Ophiuchus recognizing that two different individuals in their life will play two vastly different roles. We've seen two dragons, and now we see two other like flying creatures here, right? I'm gonna say there is one half of this that will be a time of exploration that has nothing to do with romance, nothing at all to do with romance. One of these two interactions or people, so there could be that either Ophiuchus changes their own behavior and they are being represented by these two different kings, two different facets. And even if Ophiuchus is a feminine, they could be identifying as a masculine right now, and they will be basically just stepping into the power of the sun. That's all the masculine is in my mind, right? The action taking. And on one part, they'll be very cerebral. So that's probably the piece of themselves that is not seeking love necessarily. They're exploring the world through their senses for like a clinical experience, but simultaneous to that, they'll be able to experience things from a heart-centered, passionate, like fulfilling a need that might be about love, that might be about creative energy, that might be about creation in general. And somewhere in between saying not everything is about love and romance, even experiencing something with a partner isn't always about romance. It's about that cerebral connection or that spiritual connection. And it's also about the physical and the passionate and the intimate connection. But it's not one or the other. It somehow is a segment of both. And being able to, I feel like this is going to be a year of really deep experiences, is what we're describing. Deep experiences that surpass romance. To only look for romance would almost be to cheat ourselves out of the beauty of what a connection can really be. Connecting with another person also helps open up pieces of who we are, lets us get to know ourselves better. But connecting with someone at a cerebral or spiritual level is a whole nother layer. So I feel like this is I don't know if this Ophiuchus will have ever been so much alive as they are this year, so attuned to the physical and the non-physical world, after a time period of them being very much out there, wounded, silent on their own. They're stepping, that was an important time period actually, because it helped them walk into this realm of, they've been leaning toward this, like this phase of growth for a while. I don't know why. Let me just ask, why is it that this is the year for it? This feels like it's been a long time coming. I don't know if I've explained this very well. This is a tough one to put words to. Why is it now? We have Prince of Cups. We have Seven of Sacred Circles. It's probably happening now because, as we already said, there's been time invested already. Seven of Sacred Circles says it's time to harvest things. This is pure intentions. Now, this is emotionally pure intentions. And sure, this can be about love and romance, but I would say it's more, he rides a white horse because the horse is pure. He's in silver armor because he's noble intentions. And we're against the backdrop of a powerful lightning in the sky. I feel like this is the right time. There's something different about Ophiuchus. They have sometimes, in being in a lack mentality for a while, being in a wounded mentality, and then healing, we start to look at life with more gratitude. We start to look at life as more sacred. I mean, this could even have represented an Ophiuchus that had like a time frame of illness or something that was really heavy. And they are healing this year, and they are regaining this incredible perspective, almost like, sometimes people say that, they have those moments where near-death experiences, people describe things like that. This fictional character, and of course this is all fiction, is having some, I'll call it the Great Awakening, but it's in every aspect of their life, but it's something that they have been subtly knowing they were looking for most of their lives. But this is the year that it comes into focus, and it's like, oh my God, I get it. It's not just about love. It's not just about romance. It's about accepting myself as a sacred and profound being, embracing my body as something sacred and profound, embracing my spiritual self, and embracing another individual and having a more complete, more meaningful romance. I think Ophiuchus could even find themselves madly in love this year with someone who they never would have thought, oh, that's who my person's going to end up being. Whoever this is, just saying they could have long red hair, and not that that's not what somebody would want, or it could be a surprise that, oh, I never thought I'd be with the redhead. It's not that. It's just, I think that's the dragon that we're seeing. This seems to be Ophiuchus to me. This is the other dragon. This is whoever they connect with. But it could be, how people make their list of everything that they want in a partner, right? And what their deal breakers are. This is going to get blown out of the water, because I think it's such a much more profound spiritual bond. It's something that's so different. And whoever Ophiuchus falls for, and who falls for Ophiuchus, is going to be, those lists might even seem silly, because it's like, I can't believe I was thinking that I had to have this little checklist of certain attributes, when, are you kidding me? I'm looking for a person who my soul connects with theirs. It so far goes beyond anything that I could have made a list of. Just like I've struggled to find the right vocabulary in this story. That's kind of the way to describe this. The real bond is something that it's an energetic flow. It's something that's much more difficult to express, because it's something that you feel it. It's dynamic. You're in it. You're in the flow. Very different. I always enjoy the Ophiuchus reads. They're so different every single time. You guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Now I got to try to title this darn thing. Take care. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. Bye.